want to turn $25,000 into $8 million? Well, of course you do. Well, at least one person in this show did just that. Eat the Rich, the GameStop Saga is the story of meme stocks, Wall Street bets, and a lot of stock market madness in late 2020 and early 2021.
The pandemic hit. All these people were all of a sudden interested in making money in the stock market.
I had no idea how to buy and sell. That's how I discovered Wall Street bets.
There's like this crazy group of people.
You saw people losing tons of money and making tons of money.
They love the game.
I don't even know the last job I had.
Hello and welcome to Screen OD, a channel for people who love TV, movies and streaming. My name is Tim. I'm an editor and a journalist who's been writing and talking about TV and the entertainment industry for more than 15 years. Now, it didn't take 15 years for Netflix to get round to making a documentary about the GameStop Saga, which was one of the big financial stories at the end of 2020 and into 2021. It was the people versus Wall Street. It was the Robinhood moment. And literally, using the Robinhood app in many cases, this was a financial story that would get headlines all over the world.
I kept seeing posts about GameStop.
GameStop. I thought it was a dying brick and mortar store.
You know, these hedge funds were planning on this thing to go bankrupt, and all of a sudden it's not.
GameStop just went nuclear. What just happened?
Elon tweets out,
He's a big daddy, you know?
That's when it started becoming really fun for us.
the sentiment was one of revenge, robbing from the rich and giving to the poor.
They have big swagger. There's a new sheriff in town. The market broke and we're the new market.
Okay, so what's this one all about? Well, you've probably guessed already from the title and from the clips that you've just seen that this is a show that centers around the story of the financial drama that played out around the GameStop stocks in late 20 and 2021. This is a documentary that is about ordinary people who coalesced around the internet, primarily on Reddit groups and threads, who got together to try and take on the hedge funds. This is kind of a David and Goliath story, and this is far more than just about people making money. And people did make a lot of money, and people lost a lot of money. But this story, as it starts to unfold, becomes more about a kind of us against them mentality, about a rich versus poor, a kind of Robin Hood story using the Robinhood app. This is quite an interesting and intriguing tale that is told with quite a lot of financial jargon, luckily explained as you go along.
The losses for short sellers were in the tens of billions of dollars.
On Robinhood was gonna put another like 5 or 6 grand in, and I was like, wait a minute, where's the buy button?
Everybody started freaking out.
Felt like a scam, right?
We immediately began speculating that there was a shady deal being made.
There's something bigger here. Let's find out what's really going on here.
2020, there were a lot of things going on. A global pandemic at the heart of it, which had people locked up. There were people worried about money. There were people with a lot of time on their hands. There were people spending more and more time on the internet. What we see here is a kind of perfect storm of factors that brought together a movement that was already starting to happen online of people who were interested in making more money, but also in some cases sticking it to the man and causing problems in a system where they saw that people were making money out of other people's misery. Now, while this was going on over here, the hedge funds were continuing to do what they do. They were squeezing the companies that they believed were on the way down. They saw a company like GameStop as being legacy. They saw it as being the next perhaps blockbuster, and it was on its way down. So whilst they were shorting and squeezing GameStop stock over here, retail investors were coalescing around Reddit and around Wall Street bets over here to try and force the price back up. Now, as the price went up, this was hurting the hedge funds. They were bleeding, and it was hurting them more and more and more. And the stock kept rising and rising and rising. But of course, with all of these stories, things aren't quite that simple.
The playing field is so unlevel.
The house always wins if you're unprepared. And they're playing against the house. I mean, what is their mission? What are they determined to do? Change the face of capitalism?
This is a really fascinating 3-part documentary, and the main reason for it is it connects worlds that don't feel like they're normally connected. It takes the dark and the mysterious over here, the stock markets and the hedge funds and the things that people pretend they understand but no one really understands, and it connects them to normal people at home in the pandemic, locked in their houses on their phones, pressing buttons, trying to make money, in some cases trying to right the wrongs of the world. And what's interesting is there's all these personal stories over here from the real people who have backgrounds, you know, things that happened in the last recession with their families, and there are lots of myriad reasons why they're doing what they're doing. And there's people who've made millions of dollars out of this, and there are of course people who lost huge amounts of money too. This is also a kind of slice of life in 2020, early 2021 in the pandemic. Even though it was, you know, only a year and a half or so ago, it feels like a completely different world. Now, you know, economically and financially things have changed completely. Not necessarily for the better, some might say, but also, you know, the world has changed. People are going out again. You know, the world has opened up. People have different things to do, different things to worry about now. And it's so interesting that something that was, you know, 18 months ago feels like something from history now. And that's why it's so fascinating. And not because people won't rise up on the internet and do these things again, and not because the movements of making money online aren't going to happen anymore, but because that moment in time and what happened there feels like something from the past. And that's really interesting to show you just how technology has sped up the way that things work and the way that history becomes history much quicker.
YOLO, you know, let's destroy the economy.
Eat the Rich, the GameStop Saga is available to watch wherever you are right now on Netflix. Well, I mean, not wherever you are. If you're somewhere that doesn't have a screen of any sort, then you probably can't watch it. But if you have a screen and you're in a place that has Netflix, go and watch it. It's 3 parts, and as Netflix say, you can watch it all in one night. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not hit that like button? And don't forget to subscribe to Screen OD for all the best content direct to your feed.